Okay, everybody, so here we are. We're going to create the architectural sheets in this video, and then we are also going to start putting in sort of the exterior skin of this building or the exterior wall. And in this week, we'll just do it as a generic wall, and then we'll learn how to articulate that wall into something much cooler, whether it be brick or whatever the case may be. Okay, so right now I'm in the level 1 floor plan. I'm going to close my other views. And I'm going to go up to view sheet, get my title block, and I'm going to call this one A101. And I'm going to give it a name of level 1 floor plan. Yeah, it looks good. I'll go to my level 1 floor plan. I'm going to drag it on, position it in the window that looks appropriate. Okay, not much going on in this plan. We'll get the walls on there in a moment, but I am going to reposition my title blocks. Remember that second one is I got to click the actual middle of the view to get this little dot to appear so that I can edit it. It's ridiculous. Okay, so there's level 1 floor plan. Let's do it again. Sheet. Okay, A102, level 2 floor plan. Do the same thing. All right, so let's see here. Well, that's interesting. Let's try that. Oh, it's not what I want. See if I can grab that dot here. That's what I was thinking about. Okay, so you can grab that dot from this scale. It's kind of hard, so it's almost better just to position this one and then grab the dot on the other end and do that. Okay, level 2 floor plan. That's looking good. Oops. Okay, and I am going to go one more. Sheet. Title block. A103. And I'm going to call this roof plan. So this will be just the roof because the plan cut in this case is 4 feet above the roof level. So there's nothing cut through up there. It's just we're in the air above the roof. So I'll grab my roof plan. Let's see what we can do here. Move this over. There we go. Okay, so I have level 1 floor. Oh, that's my view. I have level 1 floor plan, level 2 floor plan, and roof plan. And then S101, that's my footings and foundation plan. S102, that's my level 1 framing or level 2 framing plan, rather. There's no framing on level 1, if you recall. So level 1 might be a slab or it might be a precast or something like that. And then we have our roof framing plan. So only framing elements up here. All this stuff is below. Okay, so we have all of our sheets. Now, first thing I want to do to start drawing walls is I'm going to go to the level 1 floor plan. We're going to work in this view. I'm going to close all the other views. And I'm going to open the 3D architectural just so I can see what's going on. Okay, level 1 floor plan. So what I want to do, if I just go to the 3D view, we're going to skin this thing. We're going to put a wall around this whole thing, but we are going to do it as a generic wall, and then we'll articulate it further later. And now we want that wall to rest nicely on this foundation wall down here. So all of its weight coming down will rest on this, transfer all those forces through this wall onto this pad down here, and it'll spread out into the soil. So that's the plan. So we need to get an exterior wall out all around here. So let's do that. I am going to go to level 1 plan, and I'm just going to go up to architecture wall. I'm going to use a generic 8-inch wall in this case, and here's what I'm going to do. Now, it might look like I'm on crack here, but I'm just going to draw a U-shaped wall that has nothing to do with the grid right now. I just placed it willy-nilly, right? If I go to 3D architectural, okay, you place the wall, looks like it's at level 1. I have no idea. Looks like it's going to level 2, but I'm not sure. Let's go back to here. I'm going to hover over this wall, hit tab to select all of them and click once. So now I've selected all 3 of those walls. Okay, my wall in this case goes from level 1 to level 2, so that's right where I want it. But now I need it to rest on that foundation wall down below that I can't see in this view. So what I want to do is click in the view, and I want to go to underlay, or rather let's go to view range, right here, edit. View range, edit. For view depth, so if I open this up, okay, view depth. View depth is the number 6. So that's right here. So right here, it says I'm only looking really to this level. I'm not, let's put a value in here of minus 5 feet and see what happens. Okay, now we can at least see all of those foundation walls below, and then we'll turn that off after we're done placing our walls. So if I zoom in, I can tell that I'm cut through this wall because of the line weight, and everything else is below. So I need to position this. I want to position this wall pretty much the right edge of it even with this edge. So I'm going to go to modify, align. I'm going to grab this edge here and move that in. Grab this edge and move that in. This edge, move that in. Okay, good. So far, so good. Then I'm going to grab this edge and push that wall to there. Grab this edge, same edge, and push that wall to there. Don't worry about the columns. This is a detail we can figure out later. Right now, they're just sort of crashing into them. That's fine. So our wall completely rests on that foundation wall, but it's aligned to the inner edge of that foundation wall, and that's nice. Okay, so let's look at our 3D architectural. So that looks pretty good there. I also want my wall to not come right to level 2, but I want to go about 2 feet up from level 2. That way my roof can lay in here and my wall will be higher than my roof, so it'll sort of hide all the gooey innards of the roof edge. Gooey innards. So I'm going to go ahead and select that wall again, and I'm going to change my top offset to 2 feet. I'm going to hit apply or hit enter, go to my 3D, and yeah, there it is. So now it's sticking up. Okay, so let's move on here. So now let's draw this wall, which is a wall that's going to go from 0, level 1, up to the roof, right? And that's going to go, well, let's make that a box going all the way around, okay? And I'm going to show you how to edit it so we can cut out these parts where our first level sort of intersects this volume. Okay, so let's do this. Go to my floor, level 1 floor plan with my view range kind of modified so I can see my foundation plan. So this looks a lot like the footing and foundation plan. So we have to be careful. We have to remember what view we're on. I'm going to go to architecture wall, generic 8-inch. I'm going to go from level 1 all the way up to roof. And I'm going to do a 2-foot offset. So that should be a 32-foot wall in total. That's why it says unconnected height, 32 feet. I'm going to go to my rectangle tool, and I'm going to do this. Okay, I know it's crashing into stuff. Don't worry about that right now. We're just going to place the wall. Let's look at our 3D architectural. Look at that giant box we added in there. This wall's not really talking to it. We need a hole cut in the wall there. We need a hole cut in the wall here. There still needs a lot of work on this. So let's go back to level 1. And let's do the same thing we did before. I'm going to click modify. I'm going to go to my align tool. Grab the inner edge of the foundation wall. Boom. Inner edge. Boom. Click on the inner edge. Click on the wall you want to move there. The edge of the wall you want to move there. Boom. Okay. This wall is in the right place. Now it looks like I'm going to pull this wall back, push it in there again, just to make sure it gets absorbed correctly. Looks like it did it anyways, so that's good. Okay, let's draw this wall over here, and then we'll worry about the cuts. It's going to be a little trickier. Okay, so let's draw this one over here. So let's go architecture, wall, generic 8-inch. We're going to go from level 1 up to level 2, the 2-foot offset. I'm going to go like this. Draw it in the wrong place first and then move it to the right place. That's my technique. Go to my modify, align. Get this bad boy into place. Boom, boom, boom. Click that new wall, slide it down to the last wall we just drew. Sort of gets absorbed into that wall. If I go to my 3D architectural, we have all of our walls drawn. That looks pretty good. Okay, but we need to cut out this wall where this one is, right? Because you don't want to walk in here and you're trapped in here. You want to be able to walk through and kind of get through this entire building, this entire structure. Let me change it to perspective, see what it looks like. That looks a little sexier, don't you think? Okay, so here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to put a section cut right here. And then I'm going to look at that section cut so that I can see this wall in elevation. Then I can mess with the profile of this wall so that I can cut a hole in it. So we're going to draw a section. We're going to look at that section so we can see this wall in elevation. And then we can adjust the profile edge of this wall, which at this point is a rectangle, all boundaries. And we're going to make a little hole in there so we can get a hole popped in there. You'll see what I mean in a moment. Let's go to level 1 plan. Since my wall is placed in the right position, I'm going to go to my view range and I'm going to zero this out and hit OK. So now this looks like a normal floor plan, right? We just have our wall. We don't have all that gobbledygook beneath it. And if I go to level 1 footings and foundations, there it is. Okay. So level 1 plan, I'm going to go up and I'm going to draw a section right here. Okay. I know you all know what a section cut is, but now you're going to be amazed at how quickly Revit does it. So I'm going to go up to view, section. I'm going to go boom, put a section right here. And as you know, that is a slice through the building. Okay, but you can see how I'm adjusting the depth of my view in there to just this wall, because that's all I care about at this point. We'll delete this section when we're done with it. If I go to my project browser, I notice there's a new heading in here called sections, and there it is, section 1. I can double click on this to get there, or I can double click on the arrow to get there. Here I am in section 1. All right, this makes sense, right? Here's that generic 8-inch wall for the 1-foot part of the building. Let me turn off the crop region. You can do that as well if you want. It's to the left of the glasses down here. It just might clear up your view a little bit. Remember, these are all the views to our linked file. Levels to our linked file, and these are all our views in this architectural file. I might just clean this up a little bit so I can kind of be clear on what I'm looking at. But this wall right here, this is the wall we want to adjust. Okay, because we got to cut a hole in it right here. So I'm going to click that wall. I'm going to go up to edit profile. So click the wall, modify walls toolbar opens up, edit profile. Look at that. There's a pink line around there. I'm also seeing that I got a red X and a green check, which means what? I'm in a tool. Okay, don't forget, you're in a tool at this point. So what I want to do is go to my line tool, and I'm just going to do this. I'm going to draw a line up to the second level. I'm going to go along to this bay up to grid line 5, come back down to there. So I drew the area I want to go away, but now I have to get rid of this chunk of line here. So what I'm going to do is go up to split, hover over the line, and click. Now this is 2 lines. Now I can go to this tool, trim extend to corner, which is fillet basically. And I can go boom, 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 boom. So I've essentially taken this part out. So my outline is now this sort of telephone shape from the 80s, telephone shape, or upside down U, however you want to look at it. So now this is one complete continuous line, completely sealed, telling me where the wall should go. It looks correct. I'm going to hit the green check. Okay, that looks good. Let's go to our 3D architecture so you can see what we did. Look at that. Got a nice connection between this volume and this volume now. And I can turn this wall into anything I want through my type selectors. All kinds of walls in here, but I'm going to keep it as a generic 8-inch. Okay, let's practice this one more time. Level 1. I'm going to get rid of this section cut. Or better yet, let's do this. Let's click the section cut. Click this little back and forwards arrows here to flip the section and go ahead and move it up here. I'm going to double click on that section. We got the same drill here. I'm going to select that wall, edit profile. I'm going to split the line first because I'm crazy. I'm going to go up to my line drawing. I'm going to hover on the inside edge up to the building. Level 2 back to column line 3, back down. And then I'm going to go ahead and use the fillet, trim extend to corner, and clean up the drawing. So I have one continuous shape, one continuous pink line, green check it. Let's go to our 3D architectural. Look at that. That's looking gorgeous. Okay, that looks awesome. All right, so here's what I want you to do. I want you to set up all these sheets for your next assignment, your architectural floor plans, as well as your structural plans. Okay, I want you to PDF me your all these sheets, but we're going to add one more sheet before we export all of these sheets. And I want to add an A100, which is a 3D view, a 3D architectural view of our project as is. Okay, we know this is going to change. Okay, so here's a good view for mine, really showing those 2 volumes. If you remember, if you right click on the view cube, you can turn it to perspective, or you can leave it on orthographic. When you switch between the two, it looks insane. But this is also a nice view. This really shows the volumes and everything at play, but not quite true to your eye. So if I go to perspective, I think you could get a much sexier shot. And if you want to, you can also turn on shadows, which is this button down here, the little sphere next to the sun. Okay, so this view looks good, 3D architectural. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go up to View, Sheet, get my title block. I'm going to call this A100. Call this view 3D architectural. You might have a better name for it. That's fine. I'm going to grab my 3D view. I'm going to drag it over. Let's see. Sheets do not support uncropped. Do you want to enable the crop region for this view? Yes. Just say yes there. Okay, so this view is going to be a little big, but not too bad. Okay. So here's what I'm going to do. I just placed it. Okay, so I did what it wanted me to do, and I just placed it. It needs a cropped region for this view. All right, let's go back to 3D architectural if it's not open already. I'm going to zoom out. Here's that cropped region. I'm just going to drag these edges in. I'm going to be careful not to cover my drawing in any way. That looks good. And I'm going to hide the crop region in the view toolbar down there. All right. And now let's go back to A100. All right. That's looking a little more workable, right? Now I can bring this up. Select it again to pull this edge over. 3D architectural, that looks good. Maybe I'll move it more down here because who knows what else might appear on this sheet. All right, this is looking pretty good. So I have a 3D architectural view really showing the volumes at play in my project. I've got all the structure linked in here. I've got an exterior wall sort of starting to form the outside. I've got my architectural sheets set up, 3D architectural. Level 1 floor plan, right? That looks correct. Level 2 floor plan. Look at that. So this is darker because that's what's cut through, and this is all beneath and below. I've got my roof plan, which is not very exciting at this point, which is just the top of the wall, but it's showing the roof there. We might have to adjust this so it shows the roof down here and the roof over here, but we can play with that as we move forward. I have my footings and foundations plan. I have my level 2 framing plan and my roof framing plan. So we've got quite a bit of drawings here already. So that's very nice. I'm going to go ahead and close all the views except A100 right here. I'm going to hit save. I'm going to go up to File, Print. Change this to Adobe PDF or whatever tool you have. If you have only Microsoft to PDF, I would suggest just printing these to fit on 11 by 17. And I'll go through that immediately after I do this technique. So let's say you have PDF. I'm going to say selected views sheets. I'm going to say select to select my sheets. I'm going to uncheck views so only sheets are showing. And I'm going to grab all these guys. And I'm going to click OK. I'm going to click no for that. Then for settings, I'm going to go to default setup. And I'm going to change this to ArcD, landscape, center, zoom, 100%. 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 Burn that in your head. Okay. Yes. All right, so I'm going to go to Arc Software 2, week 6, and I will say Kevin Kinney, architectural, and architectural, I'll do this, architectural, structural. Save. Okay, all the sheets are printing. Tick tock, we'll see if it works. What happened here? It looks like it wants me to save something. Okay. Oh, I think I know what it's doing. It's saving them all separately, which happens. So I'll just run through this. Okay. So I printed them all as separate sheets, but they look good. But now let's talk about getting them onto one sheet. All right, here. We don't need to do that. So I'm going to close that. I am going to go to my week 6 folder and delete all those PDFs. Okay, let's try again. File, print, Adobe PDF. Combine multiple selected view sheets into a single file. Not this one that I did. Okay, combine multiple selected view sheets into a single file. Let's select those again. They're still selected on here for me, so I'm just going to hit OK. Setup, that's still the same. I'm going to hit OK and OK. And I'm going to call this Kevin Kinney Architectural Structural V01. Okay, it's sort of going through the motions here. Hopefully it'll print and not just freeze out. But who knows? We'll see what happens. In the meantime, I'm going to open Adobe Acrobat. Bring it over to my other window here. It's weird as single sheets have rocketed right through this. So I'm going to just, now that I have it open and I'm logged in and everything, I'm just going to try one more time. Print, combine. That looks good. Okay. We didn't even get further on this one. All right, let's see what happens. I'll pause it so I don't have to bore you with this. Okay, so the issue I was having, looks like I got one more left here. Let's see. The issue I was having was that the combined print into one PDF wasn't doing it. But here are all my sheets. I don't know what that was hanging out for, but A100, 101, 102, 103 through S101, 102, and 103. So I have all the sheets here. Now, if you have Adobe PDF, you can combine all these into one PDF if you want to do that, or you can just attach all these for your homework assignment. That's perfectly fine. All right, so let me just show you one more printing method if you don't have access to an ArcD sheet. So I'm going to go to print. In fact, before I do that, let me just delete those files so that the computer doesn't get confused. So I'm going to go File, Print. I'll say Adobe PDF. I'll do separate files because the multiple selected view sheets, that might be our culprit there. So maybe that's no problem. But I'm going to keep it on separate files for now. Selected view sheets, I have all those still selected. And I'm going to go to Setup. Now for here, just choose either tabloid or 11 by 17. And there we go. Landscape, center, fit to page. So that's the only difference, because if you did zoom 100%, it's only going to print 11 by 17 inches of this 24 by 36 inch sheet, which isn't going to give you very much. Might give you nothing. All right, now I hit OK. No, OK, yes. And here we go, off to the races. Week 6. Sort of firing through each sheet again. Save, 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 save. Rocketing through these. See what we got here. And there they all are. So let me open one of these. Looks good. Okay, so that is how we do that. So this week, import everything into a new architectural file, save that architectural file. We're going to be building up this file as we go on through the semester, create all those sheets, get the default wall in there, and yeah, just hopefully you're starting to get excited about this project. So we'll move on next week. All right, guys, thanks so much.